I mean, this is a historic day. It's highly unusual to see the kind of drop that we are seeing today in oil prices. The reference that a lot of people have made to is that the last time we saw this big a decline was during the Gulf War in the early 90s. People will remember a couple of years ago, about 5-6 years ago, when oil prices collapsed and Alberta's economy suffered from that. Part of that was huge production out of Saudi Arabia because of their frustration with the growth of the U.S. energy companies. They talk, it's called shale. Okay, this time around, it's even more complicated because due to coronavirus, and you guys were just talking about that, there's less demand for oil globally.
People are traveling less.
That's right. So Saudi Arabia tried to get a whole bunch of its allies together last week, and they said, hey, look, guys, let's cut production to try to firm up prices. Well, Russia is one of those partners, and Russia said, you know what, we're not interested. And if you want to connect the dots further, Russia is very frustrated by U.S. sanctions on Russian energy companies. So they're basically doing the same thing. They're saying, okay, let's see what happens to the U.S. energy producers. And now you have, punches being thrown and now economic and political ramifications. So
it is much more complex. The web that's being woven here is much more complex. Is there a possible end in sight? I mean, does this all get better if the COVID-19 crisis subsides?
I think the reason there's a lot of fear, and we're seeing stock markets under pressure this morning, is because this adds a new wrinkle to this. Last week, people thought, okay, Saudi Arabia, which is basically the default leader on oil price strategy, was trying to find a way to help the price of oil. Now they're saying, you know what? Thanks a lot, Russia. You don't want to do that. We're going to produce at record levels, which means there's expectations in the market that the price of oil is going to continue to go down. And then that comes back to the story you just told about the Canadian economy. Now, gas prices, I mean, we'll see what happens on that front. But ultimately, higher oil prices is something that helps a lot of our economy. I would add to that, Ben, that a lot of people talk about the effects of climate change and the real push towards renewable energy. If oil prices steadily are moving lower on the global stage, that makes it a lot harder to make a financial case for some of the renewable energy sources. So that could be a setback on that front, too. I mean, there's a lot of complicated factors here.
So what are the indicators we should be looking for in the market? Where are we going to know that things have taken a turn?
I think that how much Saudi Arabia ultimately plans on producing, because they are a massive player. It's like, look, we went through the trade war concerns in the marketplace. If what these countries essentially are saying they're going to do is not as loud as what the market anticipates, maybe that changes the storyline. But this is a constantly moving story right now. I mean, look, we're trying to figure out what the global economy is going to look like by the end of this year. And you see in the bond market too, Ben. I mean, investors are just going to the safest stuff out there because they don't like any of the risk from coronavirus. They don't like any of the risk from this oil story.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just want to wrap up 2020 right now and start fresh. Hey, thank you. We really appreciate that the team of BNN Bloomberg are following this story for us.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.